This morning. Alright. Hi. Hi there, everybody. Welcome to this live stream. I'm Salman and I'm currently in the middle of drawing Dana Scully from the X Files. I don't know if if any of you can hear me, but yeah, that's going to be one of the limitations of this live stream because I'm literally doing this off the cuff. Right. Um, so, since The X Files is nearing its 30th anniversary, and I'm also in the midst of having a full on Gillian Anderson crush, uh, in the period in my life where I have like a massive crush on Gillian Anderson, so why not? Why not tackle both and just draw Dana Scully? Okay, so as some of you may have noticed, I've done quite a bit of it. That mainly because of because of time constraint. I don't think any of you would want to watch a 4.5 hour long stream. Um, so I tried my best to like limit the time allocation and that you can essentially enjoy the process as I draw and babble on and on and on and on and on about senseless bullcrap. Alright, so I have here in my hand some uh some pencil. It's a Pilot Rex Grip brand pencil. Uh which to me, despite costing 7 ringgit, it packs quite a wallop. I'm beyond impressed with how this thing turned out. I have to make sure that nothing copyrighted is playing in the background. Otherwise, this live stream is all for naught. So let's do this, shan't we? Okay. So the first thing that we're gonna do, apart from drawing essentially half of the process to half completion, is quite important, which is setting the aspect ratio of the drawing. Since I want this drawing to be an upper torso to a head profile, because you see the original image, it yeah, it's a full profile. It's not a full profile. It went all the way to the lower part of the torso. So she's actually, putting her hands on her hips. We can see both of her hands doing that, and she's tilting her head up like that. And because I don't, my talent is only finite. I have to make sacrifices and just focus on the head and on the upper torso. Which means if any of you want to say that I'm a pervert, then I'm sorry. I just have to. That this photo of Dana Scully is just wonderful, just wonderful, wonderful picture. Okay. So apart from my Pilot Rex grip pencil, I have a bunch of high polymer leads. How many high polymer leads do I have? Well, I'm glad you asked. I have an entire bag's worth of it. Not only that, I have an extra 2 pencils serving as like a backup for if anything happened to this. So, yeah, if anything were to happen to my pencil, i.e., if it broke down or anything like that, I have some backup. Also, I have a whole ream of paper on my table. Wait, not a whole ream. I have two reams of paper on my table. So if I were to name the series, I'd probably call it uh, a crowded table. I had to wait until nighttime um, so that I'm able to do this live stream because I have housemates and my housemates went out, to work their night shifts. So I can be a bit unhinged with my commentary. It's okay. Okay. So, of course, I also would like to introduce you to my board. Um, I purchased this for 78 ringgit. Best 78 ringgit I've ever bought. Unfortunately, I abused him a bit, and as you can see, yeah, it had knife marks on it. I'm trying to create like a handicraft of some sort, and it just failed miserably. Now, um, before I start, I think I should clarify what I think my artwork is. My art style is pretty much a pretentious version of the stencil style, The stencil style is essentially like there's barely any room for like mid tones or anything like that. It's always just stark shadow. It's always like stark shadow and just the silhouette. So essentially, you're creating like kind of like a cloud drawing, and then you shade it in, and then you see a person's face in it. So yeah. Mine is a bit of a mixture of both typical portrait and that stencil style. I love the high contrast look of the stencil style, but I also recognize that it could use a bit more, you know, mid tones. It shouldn't look that garish. Okay, so now I'm marking the paper. Marking. I don't know if you can see this, but the top section here is kind of open to interpretation, which means that the line here is going to stop. The top of the line is going to stop just above this hairline over here, which means we really have to be careful. Otherwise, it will look a bit, effed up. So measure that from there, and yeah, go ahead and do this. I'm actually wearing my glasses right now to see better color gamut. So yeah, that's how I was able to do that. Now turn it around. I don't know if you can see this. And see that little protrusion going there from my ruler. Yeah, that just follow that protrusion and try to cover it up a bit. And then do this. You're kind of boxing in the drawing. That's kind of what aspect ratios are. You do that so that you don't have to deal with excess space. You only have like an economy of frames to do that. This is the shoulder line, so since we already established that this is the border of the paper is the border of the drawing. We're only gonna do this. It's fine if you do an overlapping line more than once, because again, what we're gonna do here is that we're gonna shade in the entirety of the blank space. So that's that. I'm gonna move it a bit of a distance because this area right here, this area right here is gonna be semi-dark. So I mark it here. What I wanted, what I essentially wanted is like a vignette effect. Like this is the darker part of the image. This is a light gray image. Not really light gray, but light enough gray that you can see the um, the edges of her hair, and the- essentially this area here will also be of the similar shade with this area here, and this entire area here will be dark. So I'm adding kind of like a vignette effect to that. Okay. Now I want to give you a little bit of a backstory behind why I suddenly fell in love with Gillian Anderson. Um, as many of you know, I'm not exactly a fan of Gillian Anderson prior to this year. Not that not that I dislike her or anything like that. I just, if I really don't care about a celebrity, I really don't care about celebrity. you know. Why would I waste my time on a celebrity that I know I'm not going to give a crap about? But then I watched this video by Nugget, by a YouTube channel called Nugget, and it's part of her. Uh, I don't know if the YouTuber is a female or what, but the YouTuber made a series of Gillian Anderson compilations called Gillian Anderson being herself for however minutes not so straight. There are other there are definitely other channels who have done that, but um I don't know, there's just something about the way the channel edits um the videos that just, I don't know, that matches Gillian's like random sense of humor. Other channels just compile a bunch of Instagram lives and uh, interviews and all that kind of stuff. And, and some of them even borrowed footage from Still Watching Netflix, which is a YouTube channel dedicated to net to Netflix and stuff like that. Needless to say, I don't find that the other channels kind of interesting, but know, the Nugget channel manages to um, manages to be engaging in the presentation. And upon seeing her video, I keep talking about Nugget as if I knew who that YouTuber is. but some, but by some miracle, those series of videos manages to turn me into a convert to the Church of Gillian Anderson, and I've been a recent convert ever since. So that's sort of my backstory to that. Right. So now we're gonna. Where do we start first? Now I better do this. Can you see it? Is it in focus? It better be. If not, I will. If not, I will like what the hell have I done this past couple of minutes? Okay, so I think we're gonna start with the eye. So, so the eye. The eye is basically a conglomeration of really sharp yet simple shapes and filling in negative space with the color with some sort of like shade. Because if you don't do that, it looks artificial. I'm gonna darken it a bit and add some level of contrast to that. Because the edges of our eyes, right around here, are usually where the colors pop the most. Especially if the light hits from the side of your face onto and onto your eye. Even if you are a brown eyed person, this effect is applicable as well. Okay, so the first half is this is the first eye, and then we're gonna move on to adding a bit, just making sure that the shading uh, becomes a bit more polished, like so. It doesn't look like I'm doing anything, but trust me, I trained hard enough to make sure that the shading is on a particular um, wavelength of what I'm searching for, which is not too dark, not too bright. So we'll move on to the second eye. The second eye is a bit more tricky because the area in which the shine of the eye, which is this area right here. Okay. If you notice, the area of the shine of the eye, which is like that circular thing that you see when your eye gets hit with light, sorry, is significantly larger on the other eye. And this is the result of looking at that photo for nearly 3 whole days. You have to be a bit obsessive to get details right like that just right. I sound like a stalker. Holy hell. Alright, so here we go. Really careful, and this is why I wear my glasses. Mm-hmm. Make it as small and as smooth as humanly possible. But the glint in our eye is, I don't know if you noticed, but it never really looks like it's perfectly round or perfectly shaped. I don't know if you noticed that. What if you notice it? If you look at it really carefully, like there are little sharp perforations going on the eye. I don't know how to describe that. I might be. I don't know how to describe that. So I might sound like somebody who is high on Quaaludes right now. Hmm. And then you go here with this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And put a bit more. Um, make the shading pop a little bit more. That and that. Did you see the process just now? I hope you do. Oh god. Alright. So forgive me if for some long stretches I sound if for long stretches of the stream I sound it suddenly feels silent because sometimes I get really too engrossed in this work for my own good. Okay. So these are the lips. So if any of you were to come to me to ask for advice on how to draw Gillian Anderson, my biggest tip to them would be you better keep your eye on these two very distinct features on her face. The the way the mouth is shaped and the way the side of the face looks. And so far it looks good enough to me because sometimes, just sometimes, you mess up the side of the face, Jillian's side of the face, like this side of her face. It had some really distinct features like that little smile line, and you have to make sure that the jaw is just right because otherwise she will look like she had goiters. you know, she had. That's why I say you really have to study her pictures before you go ahead and draw her because you know you really have to make sure that those features are present and accounted for. Right. So with that, I'm gonna start with this side of her face. One of the main reasons why I love doing this on A4 paper typical, you know, instead of typical sketchbooks is because it's far more mobile. But that also meant you really have to make sure you pick some pretty good paper to go along with it. Otherwise, you when you want to take it out of its green casing, the paper will start to crumple, and there's nothing you can do about it. Jillian is one of the most interesting people you know, I've ever seen. I don't claim to know her, but you know, she just has something. She just has this like enigma about her that makes everybody kind of swoon. I mean, guys love Gillian Anderson. Ladies also love Gillian Anderson. She's probably one of the most liked actresses, that that's still working today. You see why I pick high polymer leads? Because it is dark. I love how dark it is. Look at it. Just look at it. And one of the best things about Pilot Rick script pencils is that it's smooth. I love using it. It's so smooth. I remember purchasing this for the first time nearly 3 months ago, and that thing got me addicted. Like I ended up spending, you know, 4 days drawing 8 pictures. 8 pictures using this pencil. Can you imagine the blistering pace that it gave me? Oh man, it's astonishing. There's just something about the way this thing works, just that just makes my inner heart glee with like glee. Oh my god, I'm a languages student and I have a tough time with words. Go figure. Oh yeah, by the way, I don't think I've introduced myself yet. Hi, my name is Salman and my name is Salman and you're currently watching me draw Gillian Anderson and having a and I'm literally having the time of my life drawing Gillian Anderson, and there you are being bored watching me. This is literally only exciting for me. that's that's why I keep saying like better you better get ready to listen to me just babble on and on and on and on about random things. Mhm. You know, back when I was still using the green 2 ringgit 50 um, Faber-Castell mechanical pencils, this entire section would have taken me twice as long to, to fully shade. Whereas I don't know how long has it been, but it feels like it's only been like a couple of minutes. Mainly because I don't feel every single atom of the lead being disintegrated on the paper. It's really comfortable. Okay, this is starting to look nice. I think this is going to be the first time that this will be a full stream. Like you're going to see me doing my full, well, not exactly full, but full as in you're going to see me shade this thing in its entirety. So if you're currently watching, hi. Tip, 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 and tip, and make it big. Tip, 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 tip. Ten, ten, ten. Drawing Gillian Anderson without listening to Maggie Riley's Tears in the Rain isn't half as fun. I really wish I could play that song right now, but I don't want to be get copyright strike. I want. Can I hum it though? Like, I'm not taking any chances. Right. So if you notice, hang on. Sorry. So if you notice, this side of the face here is simultaneously the side of the jaw. Hey, focus. This is the side of the jaw, and also, a little peak at the ear. So be careful with this, because if you mess up this part, it's gonna look like a goiter. Trust me, I've made that mistake before. This is. I really have to be careful. I'm going to give you like. I'm going to give you like. I want to be as transparent as I possibly could with my drawing process. I don't want you to think that, oh, I'm just doing this without any thought in my head. I do have thought in my head. It's just that, you know, if I get it all out there, it's gonna sound weird. So I'm not gonna shade this quite as much. I am going to smooth it out later on though. But it's not like this side of the. It's not going to be as dark as this area here. This is the inner layer of her hair, and this is going to be. If this is in color, this is going to be the section that's going to be done in highlights of brown. So, apart from the X Files, a lot. I've seen quite a bit of Gillian Anderson's works. Not all of them, mind you, but I still haven't watched The Fall past its first episode, and I've seen the first Thatcher episode of The Crown. I needed a break though, because she's been in a lot of movies, and I needed like time to recalibrate and whatnot. Also, did you know that she was in The Last King of Scotland? That Forrest Whitaker, Idi Amin film? She played one of James McAvoy's, uh, you know, colleagues. It was insane. Like, there she is in front of my face this whole time, and I didn't even notice her. Like, what? Also, fun fact, she's also in Johnny English too. She played Pegasus. Yeah, she played Johnny English's boss. Like, what? I didn't anticipate that at all. Mainly because I've seen these movies, particularly Last King of Scotland, 3 times, and on my fourth watch, literally yesterday, I noticed Jillian was there. Like, huh? Is that Jillian? What the hell? And then I watched the credits, and it's Jillian. Like, huh? My God, I feel like an idiot. What the hell? Okay, this is actually the outer layer. She's actually wearing like a suit or a blazer. Yeah, she's essentially wearing a blazer, and she's wearing like a black and white floral pattern shirt. Even in color, it's in black and white with maybe little splotches of mocha on the flowers. Yeah, I didn't know she was in Johnny English too. That's the biggest surprise of my life. Like, what? She's in that movie? What? Okay. Imagine my shock. Like, again, that movie came out what 12 years ago, and I certainly am not watching it for Jillian all those years ago. Like, okay, I'm not watching it for Jillian, but having been a recent fan of hers, and then I saw her name in the credits. Like, wait, what? Like, her name is in the opening credits as well. Like, that's the most shocking thing to me. Also, Daniel Kaluuya is also in that movie. Wow. you the guy that ended up being in Get Out with Jordan Peele. I speak as if Jordan Peele acted in that movie. It's not. It's just that Daniel Kaluuya ended up working with Jordan Peele on Get Out, and there he is. I really thought he was American. I really thought so. Like, wow. And then there he is with some posh British accent. Speaking of accents, I'm searching desperately for like segues into funny little tidbits. But this particular tidbit is less funny and more fucking infuriating. So hear me out. So back in 2018, I believe, Alec Baldwin made fun of Jillian's accent, and then Jillian had to do kind of a bit of a song and dance number. But dude, I was raised in the United Kingdom. You do know my parents are expats, right? And she was like, and then she proceeded to like, sometimes I speak in a British accent, and sometimes I speak in a Michigan accent. What? Why in the world is that so weird to some of you? I've known that for quite a long while now. Like, come on. Um, I guess this is like really shocking news to some people. What the hell? She didn't say that verbatim, but that's essentially like the emotional gist of it. So we're almost done with the one half of the face. After that, we're gonna focus more on the neck area right here. Essentially, every time you draw something, you really have to take into consideration how much contrast you want on your neck, how much contrast you want on your hair, and all that. Do you want it to be 100% black, or white, or what? The one thing that I learned over the years is that it's much easier to draw hair in like one whole color compared to trying to find like little negative space for the hair to exist, but to still kind of imply detail. You know, I think I'm gonna do her nose first. You see what I mean? But when I say my art style is really just really fancy, schmancy, really fancy, schmancy, bougie sort of um, stencil. Yeah, this is exactly what I meant by that. Okay, and then we go in. The her lips and the side of her face are key features to getting it right. Sure, but at the same time, you also cannot deny that her nose is also quite important because her nose is kind of tiny. Okay, said what I'm doing right now isn't necessarily darkening it, but I'm just applying slight itty bitty pressure to the contouring of the the side of the face so that it looks much more even and well put together, but not to the point where it looks like a jumbled mess. I have to be careful in this area because this is where the hairline and the really thick lineman's hair kind of meet. And then of course I messed up a bit because I realized I drew it way too small, so I added. Yeah, because I realized I drew it way too small, so I added in a little bit of a detail here. I added in a second line so that you know it looks fine. And now I'm going to obscure it with more of that. And now the inner side of the hair is going to be shaded in. So you have to be careful with the shading. But, yeah. I don't know if you notice just how light my taps are on when it comes to like shading the side of her face. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of contour here and a little bit of dimension. And then we go in darker in here. Ta-da! That's how you do contouring, baby. No, 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 no! Don't actually think that's how you actually do contour. Don't. There are better contouring techniques out there. It's just this is my style of contouring. Actually, calling it my style of contouring sounds pretty egotistical. It's just my lazy way of contouring things. Okay, and then this is the neck. Be real careful on this part here. Really careful. Because this is interconnected with this side of the face. And you fuck it up here, it's still gonna look like she had goiters. Smooth it out a bit. Yeah. That looks right. Yay! By the way, I can do voices. Would you like to listen to a little bit of it so that you don't feel bored watching me draw this? Okay. I can do chipmunk voices and I can do like scary goblin noises. So yeah. So here are my some of my chipmunk noises. I'm referencing a local cartoon here called Upin and Ipin. So be patient with me. Will never be the same. I swear to you, that's not. I didn't mess with the pitch control. I really don't. That's 100% me. And the goblin noises. It's not really goblin. It's more of an orky voice. Fear. This city is wrecked with it. And then I'm gonna do like a Galvatron, I guess. You have no soul. That is why I have no fear. No, impossible. They're ruining everything. Climb, climb to the tops of the buildings. Locate the seed. Seize what is rightfully yours. Thank you for listening to my performance of cringe. Maybe I should pursue career in voice acting. But then again, being Malaysia, I'm probably gonna be paid worse than freaking slave labor. Ooh. Scully is such a cool character. Oh man. This entire stream will just be me intermittently describing drawing techniques and me just non-stop gushing about Gillian Anderson and or Dana Scully. Why wouldn't you though? Like it's one, it's Gillian Anderson, and two, it's Dana Scully. What the hell? Why do you have such an adverse reaction to you know people having positive feelings for this character? Oh yeah. By the way, um, I watched the 11th season of X Files, and at first I thought something is up with Scully. I don't know what it is, but something is up with this character. And at first, I thought they just plucked Stella Gibson to play to put. They just told. I just thought they told Stella Gibson to put on a red wig, ditch the British accent, and just you know, and just go onto the set of the X Files and told her to act like Scully. But upon watching this movie called Boogie Woogie, I realized something. Scully in the X Files reboot isn't Scully. That's not Scully. That's Jean from Boogie Woogie pretending to be Scully. It's weird. It's weird to see that. And I went into a bit of a Discord discussion with Nugget, which is the YouTuber that I mentioned a few minutes, hours ago, and I was like, again, I was watching the show, and then I was watching the show for the first time, and I asked that YouTuber for like pointers of what exactly I should be ready for, and she was like, "Oh, get ready for Scully to not act like Scully." And I was like, "What do you mean?" It's like, if you if you know the X Files, you will understand what I'm talking about. But Scully isn't Scully in the 10th and 11th season of the show, or rather the revival of the X Files. But we still consider it the 10th and 11th episode. And at first I thought that was weird. Why did Nugget say this? And then I watched it and I was like, okay, this sounds like a pretty typical post 2001 Gillian Anderson performance. And then I watched the previous episode of not the previous episode, but the first the pilot of the series. I watched the pilot of X Files after I watched that, CAC, and I understand what she meant now. I understand what Nugget meant. It's not Scully. That's not Scully. Which is weird. Like, again, this is still the same actress that played Scully for nearly 10 years. And then maybe even nearly 20 years. A little over 20 years, on and off. You would think that, of all people, the writers would know that they're not writing for Scully. Like, they're writing for somebody else. Scully isn't Scully in the new revival series. I don't know how to explain it. But if you watch her performance in Boogie Woogie, you'll understand immediately what I'm talking about. Like, my God, what the hell is this? Like, what the hell is this? That's not Scully. Remember how Scully was like kind of funny, and she had this like playful smile. She had this wicked sense of humor, but there's also this intensity to her. They took away the funny, and then they asked Jillian to just act like I don't know what the hell they were going for. And of course, the and of course the wig sucks. The wig that they put for Jillian for the X Files revival sucks. It sucks. Like the they picked like the most carrot top looking thing I've ever seen. Like, you see, okay, it's not like I want Gillian Anderson to go bald from dyeing her hair red again, I don't want that for her, but pick better, pick better, just pick better wigs. What the hell? There are better wigs sold online than the ones that they gave Jillian to wear. Like, what the hell is that? Like, something about okay, Scully's hair is. I'm sorry if I sound like an annoying prick right now, but bear with me, okay? Scully's hair, and I'm quoting Nugget here for a bit, okay? Because we got into a pretty like in-depth discussion about the hair, and sh- and Nugget said something interesting about it, and that is Scully's hair has always had this like density to it. Even in the 2008 movie, it had that density. You know, and then they picked the most horrible, cheap looking wig they could find. Like you realize, you you're drawing Scully, right? You're doing Scully. This is Scully we're talking about. We know what she's supposed to look like. We spent nearly 20 years of our lives watching Scully. Anyway, that concludes my rant for Dana Scully and why Scully is not Scully in that uh, revival. So here's a little bit of a backstory behind my friendship with Nugget. Um, we I initially commented on one of her community posts, and one of her community posts said, not to brag, but I was literally within miles of Jillian, and then she put like a sad emoji. I keep saying she as if I knew what she looks like. Damn it. Okay. And then and then I said then I said on the comment section that not to brag, but I've done several drawings of Gillian Anderson and all that kind of stuff. We didn't immediately become friends, mind you. There's an initial like 2 month long wait before she replied to that community post and my comments on the community post. And ever since then, we became friends on Discord. Again, I give a lot of credit to Nugget for converting me to the Church of Gillian Anderson. It's just I don't know why, but her editing style just like perfectly fits Gillian's energy somehow. It's currently raining. I don't know if you can hear that, but yeah, it's raining. Can you guys see what I'm doing? So I watched this movie called I'll Follow You Down. It had Haley Joel Osment and of course our dearest Jillian is is Haley Joel Osment's mom, and it's about this you know and it's about this genius who, you know, was trying to search for his missing father. Uh, and it turns out that he was sent back in time and was sent to like an alternate dimension. I try not to spoil a lot of that movie because I want you guys to experience that movie for yourself. But it's genuinely good. It's just that you know the it's just that if you're not a Gillian Anderson fan, you're not really obligated to watch it. But it's genuinely good. It's a really genuinely good movie. But I only ever really watch it because of Gillian. Like I said, I'm keeping up on her work over the past 30 years. So yeah, yeah, I feel a bit overwhelmed. Now, you may be wondering why I'm leaving this empty. Well, that's because this is kind of the what do you call that? The you know when you have like an outline of the hair when light hits it. Yeah, I'm trying to mimic that. How much battery does it have left? Oh, good. It's 80. It's 68%. Okay, that's good. That's good. It would be kind of a shame though, if in the middle of drawing this, battery suddenly died. I literally had to wait until it was at least at 90% to finally start using this and recording this. God, the weather is creepy. Thank God I don't have any laundry out. Now I want so I don't know who I would be more frightened of if I ever get the opportunity of working with Jillian as Scully, you know, or Jillian as Edwina Mountbatten, or Jillian as Stella Gibson. I would work with Scully in a nutshell. Like in a heartbeat, I would work with her. Stella Gibson, um, don't get me wrong, she's a wonderful character and she's played wonderfully by Jillian, you know. But let's think through the perspective of the detectives that's working under her. Okay, so this character is kind of antisocial, yeah, and and kind of aloof, thick with sarcasm, and before I could go on and before before long I would find myself kind of burned out by her because if I'm working with, you know, Stella, I know for a fact that one, I'm on the search for a serial killer or serial killers, and at best, that cat is going to last for years, years. So after a while, her whole shtick of being, you know, sarcastic and aloof is just gonna start eating away at your soul. You're gonna feel burned out by the end of it. You know? Whereas Scully, is going to follow you no matter what. Like she's a loyal friend. She's still no nonsense. Don't get me wrong, but she's also quite a bit of fun to hang out with. And admittedly, she's kind of a badass. Like there's this one part in the X Files wherein she was attacked by an assailant, and you know she's in genuine danger, but think she thought quickly on her feet, and she took like two defibrillators, and then she proceeds to like shock the guy in to the head, knocking him out. Like fuck, that is resourceful as shit. I want to be with Scully. Still, I have to trudge through bullshit before I got through to what she wants from me. As like not only not only her like it's not only like her, people who work under her, but also people who are in a relationship with her. I have to trudge through a lot of bullshit before I could see like okay I think I like you enough for this. Again, Stella is a wonderful character, but if you force me to pick whether or not I would work with Scully or with Stella Gibson, I would work with Scully. She is surprisingly motherly. I'm enjoying this way too much. Oh wow. You see how fast it is to get to this? Again, if I were to use my old mechanical pencil, it's gonna take like at least 4 times the amount of work that I put into this right now to get through halfway of what this pencil had done. You understand what I'm trying to get at? Yeah. Mainly because, like I said before, you feel every atom of the paper and the lead working in tandem to ensure that you have the most unpleasant drawing experience you'll ever have in your life. Now, to keep things a bit interesting, I'm going to give you a little bit of my fan casting. Okay, so now there's this movie coming out called Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, and I'm starting to like think about okay, what if we make a do-over of the Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy? Like your Siege, your Earthrise, your Kingdom, the whole show. You could rework it, and then you turn it into kind of like this epic war saga, like taking place over a period of millennia. Who would you cast in the roles? Assuming Peter Cullen either passed away and can, or he simply could not do the voice of Prime anymore. Who would you cast as Optimus Prime? Who would you cast as Leader One? Who would you cast as RC or that kind of all that kind of nice little ow thought process. So, since I'm a bit of a Transformers nut job, I would like to give you a little bit of of my casting choices for a theoretical Transformers saga or something like that. Okay, for Optimus, I would either cast Liam Neeson, or if we live in an alternate dimension where Charlton Heston is still alive, I would cast Charlton Heston, yeah, or Liam Neeson. I would pick those two um as Optimus Prime. Now, if I can't afford those two big names, I'm gonna go with either Steve Blum or John Bailey, the epic voice guy from Honest Trailers. He had played Prime before, so I was like, okay, that's nice, I guess. But for this role, I want like a Charlton Heston sound to him, like thunder rolling over the mountains, like something like "Those who will not live by the law shall die by the law." That kind of like powerful, you know, vocals. For Alita One, you're gonna be shocked because hello, guess who we're drawing here? Hello. So yeah, I would cast Gillian Anderson as Alita One. Obviously, duh. Look at the subject matter, man. Come on. Oh god. And I saw an interview where she said she wanted to kill people. She wanted to play a role wherein, well, by she I meant Gillian Anderson. So, so in my head, Alita One is this former like. This is strictly headcanon, okay? This isn't true to any sort of canon. This isn't true to IDW or the Marvel Comics canon or the 80s canon or Power of the Primes canon. Mm, None of it here. It's just what's in my head. Okay, so my the basic biography of the character is that Alita One is she came from a family of expats like Gillian Anderson, and the the family went from somewhat of an aristocrat to a full-on aristocrat after you know the father invented this weapon of war. So all of their riches comes from war and essentially the blood of the people that they killed. And eventually, the the father's business partner decided, you know, he wanted to usurp the weapon for himself, and so he killed off, Alita One's father, and then the really pissed off, and she had a really pissed off older sibling who is a son. So he swore revenge, and he wanted to like kill the guy that killed the father, the business partner, and then he ended up getting killed as well. So it so the only thing that's left there is, you know, is Alita one and the mother. And just as they were going to like perform like the funeral procession for the father, the son the son's body was like tossed from the top of a cliff and, you know, into the peripheral vision of the mother's like of the mother and then, you know, the decapitated head was also propelled from the top of the cliff, and the mother opened it, and she discovered that it's indeed the decapitated head of her son. And now they were going home, and the business partner essentially sent the junta, you know, against the family, and, you know, Alita one tried to escape. The mother was murdered, and then they live in a house overlooking a cliff, and so she jumped off the cliff and transformed into a jet. But then they shoot like anti-aircraft guns, and she proceeded to like die. Not die, but like she crashed into the ocean, and she eventually came into contact with one of the fishermen there who was, you know, fishing, and yeah, she was subsequently adopted into, you know, the fisherman's home. But then a new problem arises. She's actually gonna get like fired from her adopted family's, you know, place because this, you know, essentially mobster tried cajoling the fisherman to hire his son as a butcher, and subsequently, you know, buy the and subsequently not only buy it, but they're not gonna get any profits from the store anymore. The father refused, so Alita saw her like father figure getting like beaten the shit out of, and she started plotting like revenge. And around this time, she's also living in a really, really tiny apartment with Alita, not Alita, Chromia and RC. Chromia was like, okay, would you like? Chromia was like, okay, you, I know you don't like this. You're not gonna like this, but I think the only course of action that's available to us is for us to kill the mobster, you know. But who's gonna kill what? And, you know, who's gonna do the killing, and what's gonna be the danger that comes with killing the mobster? So she was like, so there's this temporary like delay in the killing plan. But when she went home, she realized that, you know, this wannabe gangster isn't really a gangster, you know. So she went and told Chromia and RC, that whom she's living with also, that, you know, the guy is essentially all bark no bite. Nobody, you know. he's essentially a phony, and that if he were to be murdered, there nobody is going to miss the guy. Okay. So she was like, "That's nice, but who's gonna do the killing?" And Alita eventually like, "Okay, I'm gonna, I will volunteer," much to the like shock of everybody involved. And then Prometheus said, "You know, if you kill this man, you might expose yourself to danger. You might have to say goodbye to this family forever." And she was like, "Fine, I'm happy with this decision. I'm re- I'm really just a burden to this family. But if I could do this, and if I could like contribute something to the family, I would do it." So she ended up killing the guy successfully in gruesome fashion, no doubt. And she subsequently left town, and she spent the next several thousand years just, you know, scrounging about, to find scraps, finding like illegally mined energon that she could feed herself off of. She was literally starving. And then, in the middle of one of her raids, she discovered that one of the miners is Wheeljack. And Prime was there, then called Orion Pax, and they decided, you know what? She might be useful in our army. Let's get her in there. So she subsequently kind of like adopted into the court of, you know, Orion Pax, and just she's been there ever since, slowly making her way to being the third in command of, the entire battalion. Now that's sort of the backstory that I have for Alita One. Oh man, I told you I'm gonna babble a lot. We're almost done. Like, this is quite fast. I haven't taken a break, and I don't feel like I needed to take a break. It's really smooth. Sorry if I suddenly went silent there for a bit, but I'm really focused on the shading part of it. Okay, now I want to ask you people quite the question. That is, would you be interested in drawing, like in becoming an artist, who draws, and even if you don't necessarily have the skills? Because you see, I have this theory. Those who are not interested in doing something aren't gonna bother to pursue something, to the best of their ability. In which, okay, so in to simplify this, um, you To simplify this, the thought experiment essentially stated that you can't force somebody to wanting to draw or learn any particular skill if they are not motivated to do so. If they're not motivated to do so, then what's the point? What's the point of pushing them to do their absolute bests? You understand where this is coming from? Yeah. Well, the theory that I presented is this: if you don't have the motivation to do this, you're not gonna bother with anything. You're not gonna bother with doing stuff that you know you're not gonna be interested in. So I'm gonna learn the bare minimum of the lesson, but I'm not gonna pursue it any more than that. Okay. I'm asking this because one of my friends was really interested in drawing, really wanted to learn a thing or two about drawing. And there's Nugget. Again, I'm name dropping this YouTuber a lot, but Nugget essentially was interested. She's interested. Here I go with the she again. I don't know what Nugget looks like. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Nugget essentially said um, that they'd be interested in the Nugget essentially said, I like drawing, but I like drawing and I adore people who can draw, but I don't know if I could have the capability to ever draw, you know. But my theory is this: um, try try and pursue it first, and then what conclusion are you gonna come out of this? Just draw something simple, like say a cartoon, or something like say a cartoon. You know, if you find yourself really interested in the craft, you'll keep on learning. You'll keep on learning and learning and learning until you get something nice. But if you're gonna do it for the bare minimum, just to pass, um, you're not you're not gonna do anything past simple cartoons. You really have to like to do it. That's the thing, really. That's the thing, really. Nugget likes to edit. She likes making videos. That's Nugget's thing. I like drawing. That's my thing. There are editors who are there are video editors who are good at drawing, but not all artists are good at editing, and not all artists really want to learn to do video editing. Maybe the bare minimum, but they're not gonna bother with adding like distortion to their audio and or visual because they only wanted the bare minimum. They wanted to be able to cut the To be able to cut together footage and all that kind of stuff. Whereas somebody who loves editing will put little touches that shows that they are indeed proficient in that field. Like say adding like distortion to a punchline. Maybe even adding like an artificial zoom to really sell a punchline. You don't you yeah, you learn that maybe, you know, maybe from watching a lot of comedies, maybe from watching uh, a lot of YouTube videos that does similar things. But you know, those are things that you do because you have you either have experience doing this, which Nugget seems to have, and you know, and the only way you can get a lot of experience is if you do a lot of editing, which means you have to be passionate to do it in the first place. If you're not passionate about editing, you're essentially then your videos are essentially going to be edited on Windows Movie Maker. You know, they don't really they don't really teach, you know, students how to, really emphasize the punchline. They don't really do that. Unless you went to film school, in which case they might put a rubric on that. But if, say, you study at a school where IT isn't exactly of the foremost importance, just being able to use, Microsoft Movie Maker is fine enough. Same goes with languages as well. Like, yeah, I love English, and I got good at English subsequently because of it, even though I stammer quite a bit. But I got good at it because I've already grown to love English. People who don't like to learn English, but are still very much wanting to have like a good enough prospect in the job market, is going to learn English a little bit more like thoroughly and deeply, and but not to the point where they could 100% master the language. People who study English just to get a C will just put the amount of effort that it would take to get a C. So, long before you say, I wish I could draw, or I wish I could edit, the main thing I want you to ask is, okay, but are you motivated enough to pursue that? That's my ultimate question to you. Are you motivated enough to do that? This is the sort of things that, me being a prospective educator keeps thinking about, Like, how can you force somebody to be good at English if they are not motivated to do so? Like, yeah, you can try, but ultimately it's up to them to want to really master something. As for me, I don't think I'm motivated enough to learn about editing. Mostly because I don't have the patience. I'd rather just draw. Okay. Again, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on the gradient. I'm putting just enough pressure. Okay, so I better teach you a little bit of a skill here. Okay, you see this lead? So hang on, and let me take my lead in. Focus, come on, focus. Yeah. Okay, so you see how there's an incline, right? At the lead, at the top of the lead. I don't know. Okay, you see that little incline that kind of looks like a syringe needle? That little incline there? Well, you use that you draw on that incline to make sure that the gradient that you're putting on is good and smooth and nice. So that's a little bit of a life hack there. And after that, you just learn control. Just learn how to control the way you handle your pencil. This, like this, and like this. Look at it! Look at it! Look at it! Yeah, so the gradient is done. Now we're doing the dark gradient in this area because again, we're imitating a vignette. I think this is going to be the first time you're seeing the complete the complete process of me shading this entire area. Okay. Yes. Jillian. percent do I have left on mine? 3%. 62%. That's nice. This is why you record. This is why before you record anything, you make sure everything is fully charged. We are at the home stretch now, so if I suddenly became silent throughout this, I'm really sorry. But I really don't like to talk much when I'm doing the home stretch. Oh yeah, to those of you who think that my setup is a bit excessive, like 2 whole reams of paper and a dozen little packets, of high polymer leads is a tad excessive. Trust me when I say I've been through enough hell while drawing. You know, not enough paper, not enough stationaries essentially. And you're essentially seeing like stuff that should be completed today to be completed in 2 days' time. Ugh, I hated that. It's almost specifically designed to torment me and me alone. Because I'm the kind of guy that's like, if I do something and I want to finish it, I better finish it in that same amount of time, same allocated time. I don't like to spend an entire day just looking at things that's supposed to be done, and and then it keeps tormenting me with the fact that it's just not done. I try to make it as dark as humanly possible. Yes, maybe someday I will learn how to properly edit something. I love having glasses, man. Oh man, I love having glasses. Usually, if I don't wear glasses and I'm doing something this work intensive, my eyes starts to dry up, and it got really painful really fast. As an artist, I think there are just some things that exist to simply be the bane of my existence. Rimless glasses are one of those things. Okay, so the only gripe I do have with this pencil is that even though there's still quite a bit of leads left, where's the lid? Yeah, there you are. Even though there's quite a bit of lead left, you can't use it anymore because it just won't go dark. I gotta clean this board of mine. I gotta clean this board of mine because it looks real dirty now. almost over. Oh, this is fast. Okay, we're gonna take a break from filling in this area first so that we can smooth out the area with the highlight of the hair. And voila. And we'll make it darker here. Just on the outer fringes. And voila. Now we continue. Tears in the rain will never be the same. What can we do now, baby? We're through now. We'll never meet again. Tears in the rain will never be the same. Nothing to do now, baby. We're through now. I won't see you again. Things go their way. It's hard to say. There's so much time we've wasted just trying to make you see. So many people waste their time trying to understand. There's something deep inside of me. There's someone else I've got to be. Tears in the rain will never be the same. What can we do now, baby? We're through now. We'll never meet again. Tears in the rain will never be the same. Nothing to do now, baby, we're through now. I won't see you again. My God, I love that song so much. Oh man, that song. After I finish my drawing session and after I uploaded this video, I'm gonna go and have like a bender of just listening to Tears in the Rain. I love that song. I really love that song. What date is today? I know it's a Saturday, but I don't know what date it is. Yes, time passes a bit faster here. I live in Malaysia, remember? Alright. So, this is currently done. Yes, we done. Are we done? Yes, we're done. We're done! We're done! Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Gillian Anderson. Ah. Right, so let's look at the face. I know it looks a bit wonky, but you know. But then again, the perspective is that she's kind of tilting her head up, so that's the perspective I'm going at. So if it looks a bit wonky, I'm really sorry, but I don't know how to tell you. Oh, what day is it? What? So it's the 10th of June. Sorry. So this is my signatures now. 10, 6, 23. Happy 30th, X Files. And Nugget, this is for you. I'm gonna go take a break now. Ah, my head. Okay, so, hi. Thanks. Bye.